Welcome back to the West Georgia Gridiron Podcast. If you were tuning into our social media channels on Friday, I said to make sure you get your popcorn ready because it was going to be some good games on Friday night. We had Carrollton at Gainesville, we had Bowden at Hurd County, and all the rest. Let's get into it, Mason.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, welcome to Week 5 wrap-up. We had some games that I'm glad didn't turn out the way that Mason predicted. We posted those predictions. We'll post them every Friday on our social media platforms. We do have some responses usually to those. Mason had one win that ended up happening that he thought was going to be a loss, and then we had some exciting wins that I wasn't really sure about. But Mason, let's get started with the Bowden and Hurd County games, which was kind of the local West Georgia game of the week.
Yeah, this was the 25th meeting between the Bowdon Red Devils and the Hurd County Braves. Obviously, this year it was down there in Franklin. And look, Hurd County, I mean, they haven't played very much recently. Obviously, they played in 2015 and then they played last year. And so they played 3 times in the past 10 years. But Hurd County has not beaten Bowdon since that 2015 game, but obviously that's now different. And Bowden still leads the series 15-10, but Hurd County, if they keep playing in the next few years and Hurd County keeps beating them, they're closing in on Bowden's win streak, I guess, against Hurd County. But yeah, 29-28. I had this game going 31-17 in Bowden's favor, so by 14 points. It was 7-7 at the end of the first quarter, so it was pretty tight. At halftime, Bowden led 14-10. Third quarter is when Bowden started to pull away. They had a 28-17 lead heading into the fourth quarter, and that's actually the last time I checked the score until the end of the game. And Hurd County in the fourth quarter outscored Bowden 12-0 to get the 1-point victory at home. Hurd County, they're now 4-0 for the first time since 2020 and only for the 6th time in school history. Bowden now, they're 3-2 through 5 games for the first time since their 2023 state championship season, which saw them beat Manchester. So that was the second of their three-peat. But yeah, I really didn't see. I mean, I'm not surprised that Hurd County won, but I really didn't see. I really didn't see Hurd County, especially when it was 28-17, having any chance of winning that game. I'm kind of surprised that Bowden let up in the fourth quarter, but I got to give the props to Hurd County. They fought really hard. I listened to Coach Shane Lasser. He talked about how hard they fought, especially Ethan Tisdale, who's been getting some college recognition lately. And Hurd County, man, pulling out the shocker down there in Franklin. They're, again, 4-0. Bowden suffering their second loss. And Hurd County, both of these teams have bye weeks this coming week as Hurd County gets prepared for region play, and Bowden's getting prepared for their last non-region game, which will be their homecoming. But, yeah, just a really, really tight game. Just incredible fight for the Braves. Got a very gritty 1-point win at home as they head into their bye week before region. Bowden, obviously, they suffered now their second loss this season as they head into their bye week before homecoming, which will be their last non-region game. So both these teams, it was a really good game. It was the local game of the week for a reason. But I'm just surprised that Bowden really, when you have an 11-point lead, I'm surprised that they lost by 1, to be honest. I'm surprised that fourth quarter turned out the way it did, but you got to give your props to Hurd County.
What was the key to performance for that win? Was that something at the end there that allowed Hurd County to go up?
I would probably just say Ethan Tisdale and that Hurd County offense. Obviously, got to give props to the defense as well because they got enough stops to get their offense the ball. But just being able to defensively not let Bowden really do anything in the fourth quarter, and then offensively being able to get enough points on the board to take the lead.
All right, Mason. Then we've got Rabun County coming in to take on Bremen. I believe this was the 6th time they met, and you did call this one to be a loss for Bremen. Why were you exact on this one? Maybe not the score being exact, but you did call this being a win for Rabun County.
Yeah, this was the 6th meeting between the Rabun County Wildcats of Tiger, Georgia, and the Bremen Blue Devils. I had Rabun County winning 38-14, so by 24 points. Obviously, it was only an 11-point victory, and it was a very low-scoring game, but Bremen was up 3-0 at halftime. I believe they went up 3-0 in the first quarter. Nobody scored in the second quarter. It was either that or it was vice versa. But they were up 3-0 in halftime. But then Rabun County in the second half shut Bremen down, put up 14 unanswered points to get the 14-3 win. But for Bremen, I think the lesson that they'll take away from this game is you come out the gate. Obviously, you don't even score a touchdown in this game, but you come out 3-0 at the end of the first quarter. You were up 3-0 at halftime. So their defense was playing great in the first half. Second half, they came out. Obviously, I guess Rabun County adjusted. I don't know. Maybe Bremen didn't adjust. I don't know. But Rabun County, they came out in that second half, dominated. Bremen did not. So Bremen, I think their takeaway from this game is going to be able to finish the game, be able to, you're an LSU fan, you know a lot about just being able to finish when you're up, finish the game. Y'all, that was the thing with LSU versus USC a couple years ago. Y'all were up and y'all ended up losing. You got to be able to finish the job, and Bremen in the second half just no-showed, and they got the loss. But with that loss, Bremen is now 2-2 for the second year in a row. And you take that how you want, but Bremen, that was their last non-region game of the year. They're now going to go on the road to take on Model this Friday, and that's their first region game. And hopefully Bremen can bounce back. But this was not a bad loss for them per se, because Rabun County is a very good team. But it's one of those where Bremen, you feel like you had them and you just let them go.
Surprising low first half. I guess two great defenses going and keeping each other from scoring, but then, like you said, Rabun County.
It reminded me a lot of that Villa Rica Northgate game from earlier this season when it was 12-9. It reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah, and then we've got Carrollton going on the road to Gainesville. The Trojans taking on the Red Elephants. You were in the booth with the Trojan Nation Network, being able to help out with that production and calling. But Mason, I did not have a lot of confidence in this because I thought it'd be too much of a balance on both sides of the ball for Gainesville. That would be for our team, our young defense in the backfield especially. But they actually pulled this one out pretty good, 43-21. What were you seeing up in the booth that maybe you saw that was maybe particularly a momentum swing? When did it come in the game? Break it down quarter by quarter.
Yeah, well, to start out the game, Carrollton, obviously they got the ball first because I think Gainesville won the toss and deferred. But Carrollton got the ball to start off, and they had a great drive to start off the game. Ended up scoring, I believe it was a Cam Wood rushing touchdown. He had a lot of those. He had 4 rushing touchdowns in that game, and he's been all over Max Preps and any other, news outlet for high school sports. I mean, his picture's been everywhere with how because of that dominant performance. And I'm glad that he's getting recognition. It's about time that he starts to get that recognition, and I'm glad that it took that game. That game he can take that and use it as leverage to get more exposure, because he definitely deserves it, especially when you put up 4 touchdowns against a top 3 team in 5A. But it was 8-0. We had the 2-point conversion in the first quarter with Peyton Zachary running it into the end zone.
An easy 2-point conversion. I thought this defense, there's no way. How will we score in that easily 2-point conversion against this team? I don't think they were expecting.
We actually had 2 easy 2-point conversions. Both of our first scores were the same exact thing. It was just the same exact side. Just run it in with Peyton Zachary. I mean, it didn't look like they were really trying to stop it at all. But
against that front seven, though, it's like this is too easy.
Yeah. Into the first quarter, Carrollton led 8-0. Then they responded with a touchdown in the second quarter. They actually got a 2-point conversion as well. So it was 8-8, and then we scored 2 more times. It was 22. We were up 22-8 at halftime, and we actually were doing very well. I was quite pleased with how we were doing, because again, I thought that their defense would be too much. Their defensive line, their front seven would be too much for our offensive line. And I'm not saying anything bad about our offensive line. I just think they would have been too much. I think that offensively or defensively, our guys were too inexperienced or whatever. And I thought that would have been, Carrollton's defense versus Gainesville's offense would have been tighter than vice versa. But again, Carrollton really surprised me in the third quarter. Gainesville, though, they came out swinging all over CJ Cypher in the backfield. Really, Carrollton couldn't get much momentum going. They actually took a third. That's when CJ threw the pick 6. I mean, it's just third quarter was not it. They
I
scored.
think they had some confusion on the line of scrimmage on the offensive line just before that as well.
They scored 2 touchdowns. They did miss a PAT though, so that put them down 21-22. Right. So they scored 13 points in that third quarter. But then in that fourth quarter is when Carrollton really pulled away, scored 3 touchdowns to get the 43-21 win. It included a Peyton Zachary pick six, which I don't know the exact yardage. I would say it was at least 80 yards. It was pretty long.
I believe it was 84 yards. Yeah.
Yeah, but he actually should have had 2 because he had one prior, but it got called back for unsportsmanlike conduct on one of the defensive linemen. But again, a very, very pleasing performance by Carrollton. Coach King, again, I know he talked is similar to Coach Lassiter of Hurd County, talking about how they fought Carrollton when it got a 1-point game. They fought to go up 3 scores to win the game, and they never really looked back in that fourth quarter once they started getting some momentum. And it was great to see some guys get back on the field. I mean, some guys we haven't seen all season get on the field. I mean, whatever the case may be, it was really good to see. I know Ryan Mosley, I don't know why these teams keep going one-on-one with him, but I would say they're about to figure it out, but they should have been figuring it out already.
Mason, when are these teams going to realize they cannot go one-on-one to defend Mosley and not expect him to score all of them? I love it, though. So I think around 80 yards on penalties against Carrollton. Got to get that cleaned up if you're going to start getting into more region play and some of these tougher teams. We've got Parker coming in, which we'll talk about later in the show. And then we've got, of course, we end it with Douglas County, which will be tough. But, anywhere in between, we've got to get these penalties under wraps. But I was really, again, those 2-point conversions, there seemed to be, though, after that latter part of the third quarter and going to the fourth, those picks definitely help with momentum. But it just seemed to give the defense a lot of confidence. When the defense has confidence, it seemed to help the offense as well. They may not have been able to accomplish everything they wanted to, but Mason, what did you feel about overall, though, going into the beginning of the game to when you ended it? There seemed to be, even the band was a little late for whatever reason. So I thought, man, we don't even have our band getting, to start us off. But how did you feel overall about this? Did you feel going into the rest of the season, we've got this? There's not a opponent that can beat us at this point.
Well, look at how Douglas County's been doing. I would say they're not even top 5 anymore in 6A. Just, I mean, I know that they played Buford. I know they played Douglas. I mean, I know they played Langston Hughes, but it just
doesn't seem to be the same team as last year.
I don't know, and I don't know if it's. I wouldn't feel good putting other teams below them just because they're Douglas County, just because they're playing Buford and Langston Hughes. Like these other teams, I think there's some other teams like a Valdosta who have. I think they're a dark horse right now, Valdosta especially. I think Valdosta's just below Carrollton, to be honest with you, which I think Valdosta's going to be scary. And they already are
County
scary.
Had a great win over Lee County too, which woo.
Yeah, but like I was saying, Douglas County, I mean, I'm not too sure about them. Parker, I'm not too sure about them either. But I'm not saying that Carrollton's going to lose. I'm not saying they're going to win. But I definitely think that when we got there, I was looking at Gainesville warming up. I was looking at them like, dude, they don't look – I'm not going to say that they looked small because I was looking, down. I wasn't looking straight across. But some of those kids, it just didn't look – they weren't intimidating. I'll put it that way. I was expecting more. It's not like you're watching Buford warm up and just like, oh man, this is rough. Like I was not really intimidated by seeing them out there warming up.
A lot of build up again for their team, and I just was a little worried about it. But there was really nothing to worry about when they towards the end. I
think they were more bark, no bite, and I think it showed in the game. And I think once that first drive got underway and we scored that easily, I really wasn't too worried about Carrollton anymore. But look, it was again, Carrollton's now still undefeated. Gainesville still has never beaten Carrollton ever. They're 4-0 against the Red Elephants. The Trojans are now 5-0 for the second straight year and for the 30th time in school history. So congratulations to them. It's 30 times since 40 since the mid 40s. They've done it 30. This is now the 30th time they've gone 5-0 to start the season. So they got Parker next week at home, and that'll be their last non-region game. And I can't believe we're saying that it's going to be, because I can't believe we're already mid-season, like we're about to head into week 6 and we're about to start doing region play. I actually can't believe it.
Yeah, so you had Gainesville winning 28-24. Obviously, I love this score. And what was amazing is I was going to try to get a picture of the scoreboard, and they shut it down immediately after this one ended. But we understand. Going into this next one, we've got Bakerton, which you didn't really expect a lot of this one at all. We don't even know much about Bakerton. There's not a lot of stats coming into the area to play Mount Zion Eagles.
Yeah, the Bakerton Charter Blazers. This was only the second meet. The only other time they've ever played each other was last year, so it was only the second meeting between the two. Obviously, I had Mount Zion winning 45-0. I was pretty close, 47-0, but this was Mount Zion's homecoming. So congratulations to Mount Zion getting an easy homecoming win, and they're 5-0 for only the fourth time in school history, and for the first time since 2020. So Mount Zion, they're I'm not going to say they're going unheard of, but they're not flying under the radar necessarily, but they kind of are. They got Pike County on the road. Maybe they'll be calling up Carrollton County, asking them some tips to beat them. But yeah, they go on the road, Pike County, and that's their last non-region game of the year. So Mount Zion, they're looking good right now. Obviously doing way better than last year, but really not a lot to talk about here. It's just they went in there, they handled their business on homecoming, and they went home. That's really all it is. Bakerton, though, a note to make, they still have not scored not even 1 point this season. They're
the
still
whole season.
Wow. This is their third game. They were supposed to have another game against, I believe, Atkinson County, but I think that one got canceled or something. They never played it. But they've gotten the goose egg every single game in 3 games.
Because of the teams that Mount Zion's played, I can't say that at this point they're the sleeping giant. Is that fair?
I disagree.
You disagree?
I agree. I agree in the sense of they haven't really played a really good team yet.
Challenging team? Okay.
Yeah, but I still don't think people are taking them serious. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
They're not I don't think they're being taken serious, but I think they're going to need a win on Pike County, and then we'll see how they do in region play. And they maybe they upset a Tryon, maybe they upset a Manchester. We'll see.
Enjoying the wins, and congratulate them. And so, wow, this is a good start, and I hope they can keep this going for sure. And then Villa Rica's first win.
This brings a smile to my face.
Yes, I'm sure it brings a smile to everybody's face, Coach Barron included.
Yeah. Look, Villa Rica, and it's not even that they were playing like bad teams. I mean, they played in Troup County, which is a tough team. They played Northgate, who actually just beat Noonan. And so Northgate's undefeated. They beat Noonan. So Northgate might be a serious contender or a serious dark horse in 5A right now. But then they played Central. I mean, that's 3 teams right there that are just, I mean, they're pretty good teams, especially Central. So obviously 0-3, not how you want to start off the season, but first region game of the year at home against Alexander. I had them winning 27-20. So they put up 27. They didn't give up 20. They only gave up 6, but Villa Rica got their first win. This was the 12th meeting between the Wildcats and the Cougars. I believe Villa Rica is now 9-3 against Alexander. I think that adds up to 12. But Villa Rica, they're 1-3 to start off the season for the first time since 2020. So, I mean, again, not necessarily how they wanted to start off the season, but now they got to go on the road to take on South Paulding next week, and they're in another region game. But they're starting off region well. Obviously, Alexander not kind of in Villa Rica's range of how good they are, but Villa Rica, again, a pretty decent win here and it was televised on GRIDION. It was at home, and obviously you want to get that first win, and it's a great momentum boost for them. It's a great confidence boost, and it shows them that you obviously do not want to go 0-10. So at least getting that one win is something. We'll see if they win any of the rest. They should beat Lithia Springs. But all the other region games are going to be close, and they're going to be tough. But it was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. Villa Rica ended up scoring 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, so they had a 14-0 lead at halftime. Then they scored another touchdown in the third, so it was 21-0 Villa Rica heading into the third quarter. So really in that fourth quarter is when they gave up that one touchdown against Alexander, but they also scored 6 points in the fourth quarter as well. So Villa Rica, other than that first quarter, a pretty evenly distributed game. They made up for that for not scoring in the first quarter with scoring 2 touchdowns in the second, but again, scoring at least 1 touchdown in every quarter other than the first. And they didn't let Alexander score in 3 of the 4 phases of the game. 3/4 of the game, they didn't let him score all the way till the end, and they only let him score once. So again, Villa Rica, great win for them, finally getting in the win column. Hopefully they can, again, keep that momentum going as they continue in region play. They're the first out of any of the teams around here that have started region play because of how large their region is. But so yeah, Villa Rica, again, yeah, great win.
And who do they have next, Mason? You may have already said it.
They have South Paulding on the road. Yep.
And then we wanted to actually be able to recognize alumni from the area schools that are now playing at the collegiate level and sometimes even pro levels. And you wanted to point out Mr. Zaylin Wood at Hurd County alumni, but now at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Zaylin Wood. He's a senior defensive lineman at Vanderbilt. He used to play at Middle Tennessee State. He graduated from Hurd County. He also played at Bowden as well. I believe that's where he's from.
His arms are as big as my legs.
Yeah, he's a big boy. I don't know. I'm not gonna say his stature or weight because I don't know any of that by memory. I know he's 6 foot. I think he's at least 6'6'1". But yeah, they played South Carolina, so they played Vicari Swain, who went to Central, and Jatavius Shivers, who's an offensive lineman for South Carolina.
Gave it to him too.
He graduated from Villa Rica, but yeah, Zaylin Wood. He didn't have any tackles, but he did have an interception in yesterday's game, and Vanderbilt upset the ranked South Carolina Gamecocks on the road as well at South Carolina. They beat them 31-7. Vanderbilt still undefeated on the season, and they're now ranked. So great job, Zaylin Wood. Obviously, it's very rare to have a defensive lineman have an interception, so he was the obvious choice for Player of the Week.
Yeah, and winning any game in the SEC is not easy, y'all. So to go into South Carolina, a tough place to play, and get a pick, and wow, congratulations! So
I believe Zaylin Wood was part of that state championship team at Hurd County.
Okay,
I think that was his senior season.
Got it. We had mentioned that we were going to talk more about the Carrollton and Parker game coming up this Friday night. We are doing a special edition show, recording with our special guest, Bama Preps. They'll be coming, and we'll be posting that for Thursday, the 18th. Make sure you tune into that. Don't want to miss that at all. If you're in the area, you don't have a game to go to, make sure you check that out. Carrollton and Parker. Parker won 6A championship last year in Alabama. It's not going to be easy, but it should be fun. And after this Gainesville game, Mason, I think they've got everything that they need to be able to take care of them, but we'll see what happens. So also, you'll be able to sit in on, again, the John Thornton Coaches Clinic this coming Tuesday night with Gredic Sports and the, I think it's American Pie Pizzeria that they record that. So you'll be able to sit in on all the coaches' interviews and be looking forward to some feedback from that going into the preview show for Thursday. Any closing comments, any opinions, anything we missed?
No, I'm just I'm glad that there was a lot more wins than losses. Obviously, Bremen didn't get the outcome they wanted. Bowden did not get the outcome they wanted, but everybody else got a win, and I'm very glad that they got a win, and hopefully they can, again, keep going, take this momentum. If you have any momentum, just keep going, keep getting in the win column, and especially now that region play has pretty much started, got to get some of those wins. This is where it actually matters. Again, we're getting out of the preseason. Now we're really getting into the regular season, and this is where every game matters, and really just to bring their A game. And a lot of these teams have prepared well. Obviously, Bremen didn't win against Rabun County, but they played Bowden and Rabun County. That prepares them well for region. So yeah, I mean, all these teams just continue to win.
Yep. Nothing like Football Fridays in West Georgia. We'll see you on Thursday's show.